To act as if you have everything in life is to live in the full realization of the truth that consciousness is the only reality. You do not manifest what you want, you manifest who you are. You do not get what you desire, you get what you assume. There is no power outside of your own wonderful human imagination. And when you begin to act as if all things are already yours, you enter the state of the wish fulfilled, and you call into being the world that reflects that inner assumption. The outer world is nothing more than a mirror reflecting the inner arrangement of your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings. If you want to change the reflection, you must first change the cause. The cause is within. There is no other. If you would only persist in the feeling that you already have what you seek, then what you seek must come. It is law, but the feeling must be natural. It must be nurtured within you as though it were already true. You must wear the state like a garment. You must live it inwardly so completely that the world has no choice but to conform. Now I tell you a great secret. The moment you accept your desire as already fulfilled, the moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are impregnated by that state. And just as surely as a seed placed in soil must germinate, the assumption must bear fruit. But you must remain loyal to the unseen reality. You must not be swayed by appearances. Appearances are nothing more than delayed reflections of prior assumptions. What you see now is only the past. If you would look to the present, look inward, to the feeling you harbor. To act as if you have everything in life is to trust in the unseen and to disbelieve in lack. Lack is an illusion. Poverty is a lie. Suffering is a product of identification with a false self. The truth is that you are already whole, already abundant, already powerful beyond measure. But you have been taught to see yourself as limited, separate, striving. You have been taught to chase the world when the world was meant to come to you. Man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes other than his own state of consciousness. Everything that happens to you is a direct result of your assumption about yourself and the world. So I ask you, who are you assuming yourself to be? Are you assuming yourself to be rich or poor, loved or unloved, successful or defeated? Do not merely wish to be different. Assume that you are different. For to think feelingly from the state desired is to cause that state to be made manifest. This is not about pretending. This is not about faking confidence or putting on airs. It is about assuming the reality of your inner world so fully that the outer must yield. When you act as if you have everything, you cease to beg, you cease to complain, you cease to worry, you cease to try. You simply live as the one who already is. That is the key. The man who has everything does not strive. He rests, he gives thanks. He walks in confidence. He knows that what is unseen today will be seen tomorrow if he remains faithful to the unseen today. Let me ask you this. Can you close your eyes tonight and imagine that you are already the person you want to be? Can you feel the joy of having received what you once thought was out of reach? Can you imagine the embrace, the applause, the relief, the satisfaction? Can you move into the scene and dwell there, not just glance at it, not just touch it, but enter it? When you do that, when you live in that place, you call it forth. Not because you are forcing the world, but because you are being the world. You are the operant power. You are the divine dreamer, dreaming this life into being. The world is your dream. You are not the victim of circumstance, you are the creator of it. To act as if you have everything is to wake up from the dream of limitation and to remember who you are. You are imagination, and imagination creates reality. Suppose you wish to be wealthy. Do not concern yourself with how it will come. That is not your domain. Your domain is the inner world. Can you walk as a wealthy man today? Can you hold your head high, knowing that every bill is paid, every desire is met, every need is fulfilled? Can you spend money in imagination and feel no lack? Can you give generously and feel only abundance? If you can do that and persist in doing that, you will see the evidence appear. It must, for it cannot do otherwise. Suppose you desire love. Do not seek love. Assume you are already loved. Imagine waking up beside the one who loves you beyond words. Imagine hearing their voice, feeling their touch. Live from that place. Not once, not twice, but daily, until it feels natural. until it feels like home. For that which feels natural to you becomes your reality. That which feels real inwardly must become real outwardly. There is no power in effort. There is only power in assumption. You do not need to strive to manifest. You need only accept that it is done, and act from that state. The action that follows from assumption is inspired. It is not forced. It is natural. It is joyful. And it always leads to fulfillment. But when you act from lack, when you act from fear, from doubt, from disbelief, you only prolong the absence of what you desire. Many will tell you to work harder, to hustle, to grind. But I tell you, creation is finished. Everything you could ever desire already exists in the eternal now. Your only task is to select the state you wish to occupy and remain there. To act as if you have everything is to live from the end, and the end is your beginning. When you believe that you already have what you seek, you set in motion forces unseen that will reorganize the world around your assumption. People will show up, opportunities will appear, doors will open, and all of it will seem natural. But it all begins with a decision to assume, a decision to accept that what you see inwardly is more real than what you see outwardly. The outer world is shadow. The inner world is substance. Turn away from the shadow and return to the light. The light is your awareness. The light is your imagination. That which you accept as true in imagination becomes true in fact. Think of a time when something you imagined became real. You thought of someone and they called. You pictured an event and it came to pass. You felt a certain way, and the world reflected it back to you. This is not coincidence, this is law, and this law is always working, whether you believe it or not, whether you are aware of it or not. The question is not whether the law works. The question is, what are you imagining? You can imagine lack, and lack will come. You can imagine struggle, and struggle will come. You can imagine failure, and failure will come. But you can also imagine ease. You can imagine joy. You can imagine success. And if you dwell in that feeling long enough, it must become your world. The secret is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and to persist in that feeling regardless of what the senses say. The senses will lie. They will tell you it is not here. They will tempt you to return to the old state. But you must remain faithful. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. Faith is seeing the invisible and calling it done. When you act as if you have everything, you move differently. You speak differently. You feel differently. You treat yourself with reverence. You treat others with compassion. You do not operate from desperation. You operate from overflow. And this overflow is attractive. The world will mirror it. You become magnetic, not because you chase, but because you rest. Rest is not inactivity. Rest is trust. Trust in the power within you to shape all things according to your assumption. When you rest in the assumption, the world moves to accommodate you. The world does not change first. You do. And the world follows. So act as if you are already who you wish to be. Speak as if the world already knows your greatness. Think as if the past no longer defines you. Feel as if the promise has been kept. And walk as if you are the master of your fate, for indeed you are. You are not here to find your purpose. You are here to create it. You are not here to wait for the world. You are here to move it, and you move it by moving yourself within. All change is self-change. All manifestation is self-manifestation. There is no other. So I leave you with this. Tonight, as you prepare to sleep, do not drift into unconsciousness. Use the sacred moment between wakefulness and sleep to plant the seed of your desire. Imagine it done. Feel it real. Live from it. And then sleep in that feeling. Your subconscious will carry it forward. Your world will conform. Tomorrow, walk in the state. No matter what the world says, no matter what the mirror shows, walk in the state. Refuse to be moved by appearances. Declare it done. And if you will persist, if you will remain faithful to your assumption, you will see the promise fulfilled. Act as if you have everything in life. And you will. You must understand, your assumption is not a temporary mask, it is a dwelling place. When you assume you have everything, you must live in that house, eat in that house, sleep in that house, and speak from that house. It becomes the place from which you think, not the place you try to reach. Most people attempt to visit the state of fulfillment as if it were a vacation spot. But the law does not reward visitors. It responds to residents. It answers those who abide, who persist, who refuse to leave the inner conviction, no matter what winds may blow or storms may rise. Do not let the outer world talk you out of your inner truth. Do not seek validation from the world before you believe. The validation will come, but it will come only after you persist in the assumption. If you say, I will believe I have it when I see it, you have denied the law. The law says, believe you have received it, and it shall be yours. You must walk in advance of the evidence. You must claim the unseen as yours. That is what it means to live by faith. There is no fiction in imagination. What you imagine, if persisted in, becomes fact. The world will present it to you in such a natural way that you may forget you once imagined it. You may come to believe it was coincidence or fate or hard work, but it was none of those. It was your assumption flowering into form. The tree was always in the seed, but you had to plant it. You had to water it. You had to wait in confidence. There is a sacred rhythm to creation, a divine gestation. Once you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the process begins. But like the seed in the soil, you must not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You must not despair if you do not see leaves in the morning. You must trust the invisible. You must act as if the harvest is guaranteed. And this is the test. Can you hold the assumption in the face of contradiction? Can you say, I am wealthy, even when your bank account says otherwise? Can you say, I am loved, even when the phone is silent? Can you say, I am successful, even when no one applauds? This is the crucifixion, the seeming contradiction between what is seen and what is known within. And this is the resurrection, when the unseen becomes the seen because you refuse to bow to appearances. All things exist in the infinite imagination. Every possible version of you is already created. You are not becoming, you are selecting. And your selection is determined by your attention and your feeling. Where you dwell mentally is where you live physically. You move through states, and states are defined by the tones of feeling you permit within yourself. So if you desire a new life, do not try to change the world. Change your dwelling place. Move from the state of lack to the state of fulfillment. Move from asking to receiving. Move from hoping to knowing. You can change nothing on the outside until you change everything on the inside. The man who acts as if he has everything is not delusional. He is wise. He understands the laws of mind. He knows that nothing is added to him from the outside. All things proceed from within. So he no longer chases. He no longer begs. He no longer complains. He assumes. And assumption, when made in faith, is creation. Speak to yourself with the voice of the man who already has. Think your thoughts from the mountaintop, not the valley. Walk into every room, knowing you belong there. Move through your day, as if the entire universe is conspiring to bring you exactly what you desire, because it is. But the universe can only deliver what you are willing to receive, and you only receive what you believe is already yours. When you act as if you have everything, you stop resisting life. You no longer fight the current. You float with it. You surrender to the state you have chosen. You stop trying to fix the past, and you start assuming the present is perfect. And by doing so, you redeem time. You accelerate manifestation. You collapse the distance between desire and fulfillment. Every word you speak, every thought you entertain, every feeling you nurture, these are seeds. And every seed bears fruit according to its nature. You cannot plant fear and harvest joy. You cannot plant doubt and harvest abundance. You cannot plant bitterness and harvest love. So examine your inner garden. What are you watering daily? What emotions do you allow to take root and flourish? To act as if you have everything is to take dominion over your inner world. It is to be the master gardener of your mind. It is to choose your state deliberately and to prune away every thought that does not serve it. It is to be disciplined in your imagination, not through force, but through love. For what you love, you dwell upon, and what you dwell upon, you become. Feel rich before you see wealth. Feel free before you escape limitation. Feel healthy before the body reflects it. And most of all, feel grateful before anything changes. Gratitude is the evidence of belief. Gratitude says, I already have it. And the universe replies, then let it be so. What would you do if you already had everything? Would you stress? Would you push? Would you panic? No. you would relax, you would enjoy, you would celebrate. So do those things now, not after the manifestation, before it. That is how you prove you are living in the end. That is how you show the world your assumption is more real than your circumstances. Your feelings are your compass. They reveal where you are dwelling. If you feel worry, you are in a state of lack. If you feel ease, you are in a state of abundance. Let your feelings guide you, not to react to the world, but to choose the world you want to see. If your inner world is filled with peace, the outer must reflect it. If your inner world is filled with joy, it must come back to you multiplied. You do not need to figure out the steps. The state you assume contains its own path. It will draw the events, the people, the opportunities, like iron filings to a magnet. The state knows how to express itself. You only need to remain in it. Not sometimes, not when it's convenient, but always. Let it become your new normal. Let it become your automatic response. If you find yourself drifting, return gently, without shame, without judgment. Simply close your eyes, take a breath, and remember you already have everything. You already are everything. The outer world is late. The inner world is now. So live in the now. Think from the now. Move from the now. There is no greater power than a man or woman who walks the earth feeling as though all things are already theirs. That person is magnetic. That person is divine. That person bends reality around their imagination. They do not ask for permission. They assume. They do not seek proof. They are the proof. They do not wait for the door. They walk through the wall. So when the world seems to oppose you, when the evidence contradicts your desire, smile, for that is the test, and you have passed it not by changing the world, but by refusing to be changed by it, by standing still in the assumption that it is already done. You were never meant to react to the world, you were meant to command it, and the way you command it is through your inner state. The world listens not to your words but to your vibration. It listens to the dominant feeling you hold in the silence of your being. You may say, I am rich, but if you feel poor, the world obeys your feeling. If you say, I am loved, but feel abandoned, the world reflects your inner loneliness. So the work is not to speak louder, it is to feel deeper, to immerse yourself in the tone and color and rhythm of the fulfilled desire. To act as if you have everything is to dwell in the knowing that your desire is complete, not becoming, not trying, not hoping, complete. The feeling of completeness is the key. When you feel full, you stop reaching, you stop doubting, you become magnetic, and the world rushes in to fill the shape you have created in consciousness. That is the secret, to create the shape of the desire inwardly, and to let the world pour itself into it. Do not seek results, seek embodiment. Ask yourself daily, am I thinking from the wish fulfilled or of the wish? The one who thinks of it keeps it far away, but the one who thinks from it brings it here. And you know you are thinking from it when your behavior, your emotions and your inner dialogue match the end result. That is when creation is assured. You may look around and say, but nothing has changed. And I tell you, that is the illusion. Everything has already changed the moment you changed your assumption. The world is simply catching up to your inner shift. Be still, be confident, be faithful. Creation is finished. The script is written. The only question is, which part are you playing? Are you rehearsing the role of the one who lacks, or the one who has? You do not wait for the role to be assigned. You assign it to yourself. And the moment you do, the scene begins to shift. Actors enter your life, playing their parts. Circumstances unfold in perfect harmony. But you are not surprised. You are not shocked. You knew it would happen, because you felt it before you saw it. You rehearsed it in imagination, until it became second nature. Imagination is not fantasy. It is causation. It is the womb of reality. Every invention, every breakthrough, every miracle, first imagined. And what you imagine with feeling, you give life to. So dare to imagine yourself as one who already has it all. Not in arrogance, but in divine confidence. You are not trying to impress the world. You are not trying to prove anything. You are simply being who you are in spirit. The world outside is only a delayed echo. It cannot help but conform. And the more you act from the state of having, the more quickly the world reconfigures to match you. But if you shift with every change in the outer world, you remain a slave to appearances. You must become unshakable, anchored in the end, determined to think only from the result, never the problem. The moment you stop identifying with the lack, it begins to vanish. The moment you identify with the solution, it begins to emerge. You must become it inwardly, before it can find you outwardly. That is the law. No exceptions, no shortcuts, but also no limits. You can assume anything. You can be anything. You can do anything, if you begin within. So what does the man do who has everything? He walks slowly. He speaks kindly. He feels at ease. He does not hustle, because he knows all things are coming. He does not grasp because he knows all things are his. He smiles before the gift arrives, because he knows it has already been shipped. He acts, not to get, but to express. This is why I say, be as a child. Children do not worry how their wish will come to pass. They assume, they live in the dream with complete faith. They laugh as if it were already so. And it is that very laughter that draws the miracle. When you become like that, pure in belief, joyful in spirit, unwavering in vision, you become a channel for the miraculous. And so you must practice, not once but constantly. You must return, again and again, to the state of the wish fulfilled. In the morning, before the world speaks to you. In the quiet of night, when imagination is most potent. Let it become your dominant mood. Let it color your conversations. Let it shape your expectations. You are not pretending. You are not lying to yourself. You are choosing. You are claiming your inheritance. For all things are already given. The question is not, will you be blessed, but will you accept that you are blessed now? You must stop chasing and begin receiving. Stop doubting and begin assuming. Stop waiting and begin assuming. Stop waiting and begin being. Creation is not about effort, it is about alignment. When you are aligned with the feeling of already having, actions become effortless. Doors open. People appear. Opportunities arise that no logic can explain. That is the magic of living in the end. You do not force reality. You attract it by your state. So each day, ask not what do I want, but who am I being? For who you are being determines what you see. Be the one who already has the love, the wealth, the peace, the joy. Let your posture, your tone, your presence reflect that. Let your decisions reflect that. Let your silence speak louder than your words. To act as if you have everything is to live in reverence. To treat every moment as sacred. To feel, it is good now, even as you walk through what others call lack. Because you know lack is just an old echo, a fading image, and you are already rooted in something higher. You are not swayed by appearances. You are not discouraged by delay. You are anchored in the unseen, and that unseen will become seen, because you have chosen it again and again. Keep imagining, keep feeling, keep dwelling in the end. Let the world catch up to your vision. Let time bend around your conviction. You are the author, the director, and the actor of your life, and every act of inner assumption writes the next scene of your outer play. And so I leave you with this. The greatest secret is not hidden in the stars, nor buried in some distant land. It is within you. It always has been. Act as if you already have everything, and the world will shape itself around that truth. Not because it is magic, but because it is law. You are not waiting on the universe. The universe is waiting on you to choose, to feel, to assume, to live now as the man or woman who has already received. Walk in faith, speak with authority, move with grace, and above all remember you are not becoming, you are. The moment you accept that, the moment you live that, the world has no choice but to mirror it back to you in full. That is the power you were born with. Use it wisely, use it boldly, and let your life be the proof that assumption creates reality.